Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hasan Juma, Vancouver Realtor. In today's video, I want to discuss an announcement that came out yesterday by the BC provincial government in regards to introducing what's called a cooling off period for resale properties by the middle of next year. This is very similar, as they say, to the pre-sale market and how you have a 7-day what's called a rescission period. Essentially, to make it easy, it's a walk-away period. So no matter what type of a contract you write, what type of subjects you put in there, you're going to have a time period. We don't know exactly what it is, but if it's very similar to the pre-sale environment, then we're looking at a 7-day time window where you can walk away from the sale as a buyer for any reason. So in this video, I'm going to cover A, what a cooling off period is, B, the reason I think the BC government is moving to make this change, C, and I think probably most important, what I feel this is going to do for real estate prices, and D, what I actually think a change like this is going to, what it's going to mean for the real estate market, how buyers and sellers are going to operate differently moving forward. So as I briefly mentioned off the top, cooling off period, the way to look at it is like a buyer's remorse period. When you purchase a product at Best Buy or Amazon or Walmart or Costco, you have a return policy. You have a window where you can take that product back for whatever reason. Currently right now, that only happens in real estate with the pre-sale market. So the pre-sale market, when you're purchasing a home that's not quite ready to go, it runs under a different set of rules than what we call the resale market, or a used property, a home that has been lived in before. So how it works with pre-sales is you're given a 7-day time period to basically walk away for whatever reason. You can review the disclosure statement, you can review anything you like, figure out your financing, and if by that 7th day you're unsatisfied or you don't want to move forward with the deal, you can walk away from it. Any deposits you may have paid will be returned back to you. Now, I think the reason that they are doing this, and I can understand this, is they want to protect buyers from writing offers that they may not be able to fulfill. In a frenzied market where it's a heavy seller's market and people are writing offers at prices that are maybe uncomfortable for themselves or prices that they hadn't thought of before, the government wants to protect those buyers and give them a period after that frenzied offer presentation or after that process of getting the offer accepted, have a window of time where you can really think whether that was the right decision to make. Now, looking at it in that direction, I completely support it. I think that it makes a lot of sense when you view it in that sense. But when I look at how this may shake out in practice, I don't know if it's actually going to have the effect that the government is looking for. So for starters, I'm going to talk about no subject offers. I'm going to link to a video I did previously on no subject offers and the things that you need to look for and be aware of before writing them. The reason I want to talk about them is when you introduce a cooling period or a rescission period, you're essentially taking away the no subject offer. And the first thing I want to just make sure comes across really clearly is, sometimes we hear the term no subject offer or, subject-free, contingency-free offer. And what that means is when the seller signs off on the offer, the deal is done. It's a firm sale. There's no subject to financing. There's no subject to inspection. It's just a done deal. And I think sometimes when we hear that term, when the general public hears that term, they feel that those offers are riddled with risk. And sometimes they are, but I just want to make sure it's clear, like from my experience in dealing with my clients and the agents that I speak with, a lot of times when we are writing no subject offers, we're running through our own checklist prior to writing that offer, where we're actually covering all of the subjects we would actually normally place inside that offer. We're just doing it before writing the offer. So for example, we're working with the mortgage lender to make sure we have a plan A and a plan B for lending. We're reviewing all the documents, including the property disclosure. The lender has the property disclosure to make sure there's no red flags with the property. We're talking with insurance brokers to make sure we can insure the property, what that might look like from a cost perspective. We're dealing with inspectors, and oftentimes we're doing a pre-offer inspection, so we're getting that peace of mind for our buyers as well. I would venture to say that any savvy agent is making sure that their client is not writing a no subject offer that's heavily filled with risk. Now, if you're comparing two offers, a no subject offer and a offer with subjects, yes, no subject will carry a little bit higher of a risk, but there is a way to mitigate it. When I look at this cooling off period and I look at it at face value, I think that is what the government is trying to protect against, people writing offers that they can't ultimately complete on at the end of the day. Again, from my experience as someone whose feet are on the street every day, speaking with agents and not only my own deals, I haven't seen an increase in situations where buyers are not able to complete on their properties in this frenzied market. I mean, it happens every year, but I'm not seeing any sort of uptick or a large increase in those types of situations happening. So now that you know what the cooling off period is, why the government may have decided to implement it, I'm going to talk about what I actually think it's going to do for real estate prices. So in a real estate offer, there's a few elements that dictate the value or the strength of an offer. Of course, there is the price, which is often number one. There are terms and conditions, and then there are completion and possession dates. And those are pretty much the three components of an offer which a seller is going to weigh against other offers. When I look at a cooling off period, what this is essentially doing, again at face value, is it's taking away the no subject offer. It's giving everyone a right to what we assume is going to be 7 days to walk away from any offer. So when you look at it from a competitive scenario, anytime that you standardize terms and conditions, so for example, you're standardizing a window of time where any buyer can walk away, mixed with the federal government's talk about making inspections a legal right, which they already are, but mandatory. So if the federal government does that as well, and these are etched into the contract, into the terms and conditions of inspection, let's call it a 7-day, that's assumption, but let's call it a 7-day window for walking away or a right of rescission. Anytime you standardize terms and conditions or one portion of a contract, you actually put more weight on the other side of the contract. So when I look at it from a buyer's perspective, how are they now going to be able to distinguish their offer versus other offers? It's going to have to be in price, and they're probably going to have to reach further in price than they might have had they written an offer that had fewer terms and conditions. Now, when you're a seller or a listing agent, it's very often that you'll be reviewing a couple of offers, one of them without any subjects and one of them with subjects in the offer. And more often than not, the offer that has the subjects is essentially buying their subjects. So that offer will have a higher purchase price, and a no subject offer will come in at a lower purchase price, but it's a guaranteed sale. And I know this may be tricky to fathom because of how much prices have escalated over the last little while, but typically and historically speaking, no subject offers have actually helped to stall the appreciation of real estate pricing in certain ways. Again, the last 12 months, a bit of an anomaly, but no subject offers, again, coming in typically lower than a subject offer. It hasn't been extremely effective, but they have helped to stall a little bit of the price appreciation. So now look at it this way. You're a buyer, you're going into multiple offers, and a lot of the terms and conditions have now been standardized, but you have a 7-day window to figure out your financing or even just to change your mind. I personally think that a lot of buyers are now going to place offers at a higher price than they had expected to write in the first place, because they're going to be more confident that if they can't get the financing put in place, they can walk away. So for example, they may be approved up to $800,000. They know they need to beat 4 other offers. They write an offer at $850,000. They get it accepted. The first call is going to be to the mortgage broker afterwards. They're going to say, look, I know you only approved me up to $800,000. I need to purchase this property. It's going to have to be at $850,000. Tell me what I need to do. We have 7 days to figure it out. Tell me what I need to do so that you can approve for that further amount. Am I moving a car loan into my spouse's name? Am I shifting money around? Tell me what I need to do. Of course, in that 7-day window, you're going to have a lot of buyers that can't get it done. They're going to walk away, but buyers are motivated. I think more often than not, they're going to find a way to complete on that purchase and remove those subjects, and ultimately they're going to end up driving up the price because they're more confident writing offers with higher prices. So my personal opinion is this could have an adverse effect on real estate prices, with buyers having a lot more confidence to write these level of offers. Now let's look at it from a seller perspective, because as a real estate agent, I need to protect my sellers. We're all thinking of ways to protect the sellers. Now imagine a buyer goes out on a weekend and they are, viewing 4 or 5 properties. They like them all for different reasons. If they have this right to rescission, or they have this cooling off period for 7 days, what is going to stop them from writing offers on all 5 properties on the Monday, potentially even having 4 or 5 accepted offers, and on the 7th day deciding what to do, which one to move forward on, and revoking their offers on the other 4? Now, I think it's really important. I get a lot of sentiment of a little bit of home buyers versus home sellers, but I think it's really important to understand that home sellers, they're not the enemy here, and a lot of home sellers are also buyers. I just think that's a really terrible situation to put a home seller into, especially if they've eyed their next property or they have an accepted offer on their next property and they're waiting for this sale to go through. I think if we want to point fingers, we should be pointing at anyone that stood in the way of a multifamily development in a single family neighborhood. I think these are the places, if we wanted to point fingers, where we should. It's not the home seller's fault. So in this process, we need to make sure we're protecting both home buyers and home sellers. But again, I feel like standardizing terms and conditions or any parts of an offer is just going to put even more weight on that price. And consumer confidence is a good thing, but it will also cause buyers to stretch further and beyond what they expected to pay for a property. Really quickly, I want to touch on supply chain, and I want to talk about real estate supply, yes, because this is the reason why prices have increased, and this isn't a problem that happened overnight. It is a problem that has been accentuated by COVID. So I'll give a quick example. I'm in the market for a new car. My lease is up, and I called the dealership the other day to see what my options are to get a new car. And the car I want, it's not any sort of crazy vehicle. It's a very popular car you might see on the road. And I guess you could say like an average spec of that car. So I spoke to my sales guy, and he said, look, the car that you want, we're getting quantity 10 of that vehicle, and they're arriving in June 2022. So the car I want, my lease is up in a month. The car I want is not coming for another 7 months. Of that car, there's a specific color I'm targeting as well. So 2 of those 10 are that color. And all of this is, the reason I mention this is these supply issues that we see in real estate, it's not just a real estate thing, it's in every sector out there. Think about the news you're hearing about certain sectors of employment. They're unable to hire employees. So even the supply of certain types of labor, COVID has affected it. So what has happened with real estate is we've had a supply issue for some time in terms of new supply coming to the market and being prepared for our population growth. But COVID has accentuated it. COVID has definitely affected supply in such a way that now it's bringing to light all of the poor decisions that have been made over the last 5-10 years. And I say that in terms of development applications taking forever to get passed. And again, a lot of moves that could have been made in some of these single family neighborhoods to turn them into multifamily density type neighborhoods or properties, especially surrounding SkyTrain. That's the real culprit for real estate prices being where they are. It's not sellers, it's not buyers driving up prices, etc. So again, we don't know a lot of the details of what this cooling off period may fully entail, but I felt it important to do this video quickly and let you guys know what it's about. I will do an update when we get some more details in terms of what that looks like, and I'll go over the different aspects at that point. But my personal opinion is I don't know what type of effect. I don't think this is going to have a dampening effect on real estate prices. I think from a contractual perspective, we're probably going to see some scenarios where hungry buyers are going to revoke their right to that 7-day window or whatever the time period is. They're going to revoke their right to that. Are we going to see offers that have a portion of the deposit being non-refundable upon acceptance? Look, every real estate market, there's motivated buyers, there are motivated sellers, and the motivated buyers that do want to distinguish their offers and their proposals for properties, they're going to find a way to do it. So I do hope that as the BC government rolls this out, they do discuss with some stakeholders, people that are, in the industry day to day, for ideas on how exactly to implement it. Because at the same time, we want to protect home buyers, we want to protect home sellers as well. Guys, if you learned something from this video, I'd love it if you could hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. That basically pushes the video out to more people to be able to watch. If you're looking to sell or buy real estate in Vancouver and you want to work with me, all my information is in the description box below. But outside of that, have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching and take care.